Okay, so how to improve your style and form. Like, it's really important to get your form right in running, because essentially your form, along with your, aerobic capacity to get blood efficiently and therefore oxygen efficiently to the muscles, your form is what's going to move you over the ground. And as efficient and as effective as you can make that, and gradually you will become naturally more efficient at moving over the ground as you become better at running. But if you can enhance that by thinking about how you run. We all run the way that we run, but if you can improve the way that you run and make slight changes, only little slight changes, then you're going to be a better runner, and you're going to be more efficient at moving over the ground. And therefore you're going to be faster at moving into the ground. You're going to be more effective at moving over the ground. So stage one, what I would do is just really think about how you're running. A lot of people will just lace up, put the kit on, and just go out there and run. But you can be more intelligent than that. You can be thinking about what you're actually doing. What am I actually doing with my body as I'm moving around, as I'm moving along? So if you're kind of like, you stood in a regular position, you've got your arms by your side, your legs, your feet are like shoulder width apart, then you're kind of like, you're pushing. You want to sort of push off every step from the midfoot, not from the toe, not from the ankle. You don't want to be landing on your ankle, because that's going to jolt through your body. You don't want to be landing too much on your toes. You want to be up and sprightly, but on your midfoot, and then midfoot landing and then toe off, right? And you want to make fast feet. So you want to be able to have that ground contact time as low as possible. And you can see all this data, and we'll come to this in a second, but you can see all this data now on your watch, especially if you've got it linked to a good heart rate monitor. You can see a lot of good stuff, yeah? So if you're thinking about it, and the easiest way to do this is just to think, just when you're running, think, okay, so how close are my arms to my body? Like, you want to tuck those elbows in so everything is efficient. So if you think about your shoulder, and if you use that more as a hinge joint than a rotation joint, then if you've got your arms to a point where they're very, very linear, that's going to help the rest of your body. And so if they're not coming out, like I used to have a problem where this left arm, for whatever reason, I didn't understand it until I would see it when I would be on the treadmill and looking into the mirror. I would kind of see how I ran, but when I got more labored, that left arm for some reason would come out. It's a really strange thing, but it would come out. So if I focus on keeping those linear, it takes care of a lot of the rest of my body. And what I mean by the rest of the body, the most important things is you keep your toe, ankle, knee, and hip aligned. And the reason that's important, because if that's linear, if you think about it like a train, there's less, your ankle joint is a small rotation joint. It's a small rotation, but if you rotate that too much, you're going to have problems. And you're going to have problems not just in the ankle, but in the calf and the rest of the leg. Your knee joint is a hinge joint. Try to use that as a rotation joint, you're going to have major problems. And that's where the knee is a complicated joint. Try to use that anything but a hinge joint, you're going to have issues. Again, the hip, it's not like a rotation joint, like you can pretty much move anywhere with the shoulder. The hip is, yeah, you can move it out, and the more flexible you are, the more you can do with your hip. But if you use that in a linear way, like a hinge joint, then it's going to be so much more efficient for you moving over the ground. So toe, ankle, knee, hip, all aligned, and that can be helped just by having linear arms. So they're moving forward, they're not crossing. A lot of people run like this, you'll see, and that, it doesn't look as bad as that when you slow it, when you speed it up. So if I'm kind of running like that, and you'll even see on the track, you'll even see, international distance runners running on the track, but they're only usually running for a couple of minutes, 800 meters, or 3.5 minutes for 1500 meters. It doesn't matter so much to them, but they'll still want to work on their efficiency if they move up to 10K, half marathon, and definitely above. To kind of keep that there, and I bring that up just to about above nipple height, yeah? and that's super important. So then the rest of your body, it just follows suit. It's very difficult. It's very difficult if your arms are linear to do anything but the right thing with your legs. You'll notice that if you just if you focus on this, then your toes, ankles, knees and hips will want to stay aligned because they'll want to be doing the right thing. So that's going to help you out. That is the easiest way to have a good running form. And when you kind of get tired in a race, and when you kind of feel as if, oh, it's not going my way, or haven't got the right, if you just focus on your arms, the rest of you, and get to a point with your training when the rest of the body will just follow suit, you'll begin to see that your heart rate will come down. It will feel like less effort to move forward over the ground for the same heart rate, and for the same speed. Yeah. So super important. Just keep the arms. Everything starts with the arms. What are the arms doing, and why are the arms so important for running? Yeah, it's for that reason. And then legs. Okay. So then you've got your legs. You've got your toes, ankles, knees, and hips aligned. And then next is you've got to be engaged in the glutes. If you're running any distance whatsoever, if you're literally running at all, you want your glutes to be doing the big work. Why? Because they're the biggest muscles in the body. Those big power muscles, if you can strengthen them, which you can strengthen them through running, you can strengthen them in the gym, you can strengthen them through cycling and other sports. But if you can put the bulk amount of work on your glutes, then you're going to be able to move forward much faster. The big power muscles are going to be pushing off from the ground, and if you can do that at a slow pace on your recovery runs and easy runs, it's going to be so much easier for you to do that. It's going to be so much easier for you to do that when you're running fast in your interval session or your long run. So really, really, really important. So then the relationship becomes, or the difficult part, and this is the hardest part, is how you get fast feet and strong glutes. Strong glutes that are going to push off the ground for you and engage on every single step. Fast feet. So if you look on your watch, usually, and it's not that important if you're just getting into running. But if you're at the point where you want to go faster, you've got facility on most watches now that you can see ground contact time and stride length. Now, if you think about it, ground contact, how long your foot is on the ground, then it's 0.02 of a second or something like that, 0.2 of a second, yeah? Which is nothing. But you'll be able to see when you get tired that you're actually on the ground for longer because your style is more labored, and you begin to slow down a little bit. So you'll be on the ground for longer when you're running slower as well. So if you're just on a marathon, you look at your ground contact time over time, you'll see it as a graph, and then all of a sudden when you get tired, it starts to be a little bit more, and it might just be 0.22 or 0.25, but if you think about 0.25 versus 0.2, that's 25% difference, 25% slower, 25% more time on the ground means you're moving forward less. You're moving forward not as fast, yeah? So you think about it like that. You want fast feet and strong power muscles, and it's that relationship along with the simplicities of the arms are doing right. And I always keep my fingers like that, so it's very, very easy. No stress in my upper body, yeah? Not moving around. And then the rest of my body, toes, ankles, knees, hips aligned. And then I want to be landing midfoot, toe off, and I want that to be a fast transition, but I want every single step for my glutes to engage. Super important. Hope you like it, and I hope also the background is not causing too much noise. It is a busy area, especially on a Saturday where I am, but hopefully it's a bit of a variation from